You still love them. And that's exactly why this hurts so much. Letting go feels like betrayal, as if releasing them means erasing what was real. Stoicism doesn't ask you to stop loving. It asks you to stop suffering for what you can't control. If you're here, there's someone who keeps returning to your thoughts uninvited. Not because they are still present in your life, but because your mind refuses to accept what your reality already knows. You replay memories, search for meaning, and secretly hope time will reverse itself. The Stoics understood this struggle long before modern psychology named it. They taught that pain doesn't come from love itself, but from attachment, the insistence that reality should have turned out differently. Love can exist without possession, without obsession, and without self-destruction. In this video, you'll learn 10 brutal Stoic rules to let go of someone you still love. Not through hatred, not through denial, but through clarity, discipline, and self-respect. This isn't about forgetting them. It's about reclaiming your mind, choosing peace, and finally stepping forward without dragging the past behind you. Rule 1. Accept that love does not equal possession. One of the hardest truths to accept when you still love someone is this: loving them does not give you the right to keep them. Most emotional suffering begins the moment love turns into possession. You don't just miss them, you feel entitled to their presence, their attention, their return. And when reality refuses to comply, pain intensifies. Stoic philosophy cuts through this illusion without cruelty. The Stoics taught that we never own people, outcomes, or feelings outside our own judgments. Love, in its pure form, is appreciation without control. Possession, however, is fear disguised as devotion. When you confuse the two, you turn love into a contract reality never signed. Think about what hurts most. It isn't simply that they're gone. It's that you believe they shouldn't be. That single belief creates resistance against reality, and resistance is where suffering lives. Marcus Aurelius warned that insisting life obey your expectations is a quiet form of self-violence. You punish yourself every day by demanding what cannot be forced. Accepting that love does not equal possession doesn't erase your feelings. It restores your dignity. It allows you to love what was real without demanding it continue forever. This shift is not emotional coldness, it is emotional maturity. You stop clinging, you stop bargaining with memory, you stop asking the past to rescue you. The moment you release ownership, something subtle changes. The ache becomes quieter, your thoughts slow down, you begin to breathe without tension. You realize that loving someone once does not obligate you to suffer indefinitely for them. Practice this rule deliberately. When thoughts of them arise, remind yourself, love is not ownership. Their choices are not my failure. Repeat it without force. Let it settle. This is where letting go truly begins, not by killing love, but by freeing it from control. And in doing so, you free yourself as well. This acceptance is not surrender. It is strength chosen quietly, without witnesses, without applause, and without resentment, grounded in self-respect and the courage to face reality fully today. Rule 2. Stop romanticizing the past. The mind is not an honest historian. When someone leaves, memory becomes selective, polishing moments that once felt ordinary and erasing the days that slowly broke you. You remember laughter, warmth, and intimacy, but forget the silence, the tension, and the ways you felt small. This distortion keeps you emotionally trapped. Stoic philosophy warns against mistaking memory for truth. The past is not a sanctuary. It is a record. When you romanticize it, you turn fragments into a fantasy and then grieve a version of reality that never fully existed. That grief feels endless because you are mourning something imagined, not something whole. Notice what your mind does during quiet moments. It edits, it highlights, it removes context. It tells you, it wasn't that bad, or if only I'd done more. But this narrative is not wisdom. It is an attachment disguised as reflection. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and nowhere is that clearer than here. Stopping romanticization does not mean rewriting history with bitterness. It means seeing the relationship as it truly was, without decoration. The good moments mattered, but they weren't the entire story. The ending was not a mistake. It was information. It revealed misalignment, unmet needs, or timing that could not be forced. This rule requires discipline. Each time a memory surfaces, ask yourself a grounding question. What am I leaving out right now? Recall the moments you felt anxious, dismissed, or uncertain, not to punish yourself, but to restore balance. Truth brings stability. Fantasy fuels longing. When you stop idealizing the past, you stop negotiating with ghosts. Your emotional energy returns to the present, where your life is actually happening. The ache softens because you're no longer feeding it selective images. You begin to grieve honestly, and honest grief moves. Let the past be complete, not sacred, not cursed, simply finished. When memory loses its glamour, attachment loosens its grip. In that clarity, space opens for peace, self-respect, and the realization that this chapter reached its final page quietly. Rule 3. Detach from the story. You keep replaying. What keeps you stuck is not the person, it's the story. The conversations you replay in your head, the what-if scenarios you mentally rewrite, the imagined explanations, apologies, or reunions that never happened. This internal loop feels productive, but it is quietly exhausting you. Stoic philosophy teaches a hard truth. Thoughts are not commands. Just because a story appears in your mind does not mean you must follow it, expand it, or believe it. Overthinking is not reflection. It is an attachment dressed up as analysis. And the longer you stay inside the story, the more power it takes from you. Ask yourself honestly, how many times have you replayed the same moment, hoping it will finally resolve itself? Each replay promises relief, but delivers none. Marcus Aurelius warned against this exact trap, the mind suffering not from events, but from its own repeated judgments about them. You're not trapped by what happened. You're trapped by how often you revisit it. Detaching from the story does not mean suppressing thoughts or forcing silence. It means refusing to build a home inside them. When the narrative begins, notice it, name it, then stop adding to it. No extra dialogue, no imagined endings, no self-blame. You observe, then you step back. This takes practice. At first, the story will return again and again because it has become familiar. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar peace. But each time you interrupt the loop, you weaken it. Each pause is an act of self-respect. Each refusal to engage is a reclaiming of mental space. Over time, something shifts. The story loses detail. The emotional charge fades. You realize you don't need to resolve the past to move forward. You only need to stop narrating it. Life begins again when the inner noise quiets. Freedom does not come from a better ending to the story. It comes from walking away from it entirely. And when you do, you finally hear your own voice again, steady and present, no longer competing with echoes from a chapter that is already over. Rule 4. Do not seek closure. From someone who left closure feels like the missing key. You tell yourself that one final conversation, one honest explanation, or one moment of accountability will finally calm your mind. But this belief keeps you emotionally dependent on someone who has already chosen absence. Stoicism is clear here. Seeking closure from another person is surrendering your inner authority. When someone leaves, their silence is already an answer. Chasing closure is not about understanding. It is about relief. You want them to soothe the pain they helped create. Yet Marcus Aurelius warned that expecting peace from external sources is the fastest way to lose it. Peace that depends on another person is never stable. The truth is difficult, but freeing. People rarely give the closure we imagine. They minimize, deflect, or protect their own comfort. And when they do speak, their words often reopen wounds instead of closing them. Each attempt pulls you back into the past, reopening negotiations with someone who is no longer invested. Stoic philosophy teaches that closure is an internal act. It is a decision, not a discussion. You close the chapter when you stop asking someone else to validate your pain. You close it when you accept that their inability to stay, explain, or repair is information enough. This does not mean you deny what you felt or what was lost. It means you stop waiting for permission to move on. You stop granting them access to your emotional recovery. You take responsibility for your healing, even if the ending felt unfair or abrupt. Practice this rule deliberately. When the urge to reach out appears, pause and ask yourself, what am I hoping they will give me? Then give yourself that thing through action, distance, and honesty. Write what you wish they had said. Acknowledge what was never possible. Closure is not a gift they owe you. It is a boundary you set. Once you claim it, your energy returns. The noise fades. You stop rehearsing conversations that will never happen. In that silence, something stronger emerges. Self-trust begins. Rule 5. Separate love from self-worth. When someone you still love walks away, the mind instinctively turns inward and asks a dangerous question. What was wrong with me? This question feels logical, but it quietly erodes your self-worth. You begin measuring your value by another person's decision, as if their departure were a verdict on your adequacy as a human being. Stoic philosophy rejects this confusion completely. Your worth does not rise or fall with anyone's affection, attention, or commitment. The Stoics taught that value is rooted in character, how you think, choose, and act, not in how deeply someone else was able or willing to love you. When you tie your self-respect to external approval, you place your identity in fragile hands. Notice how easily love becomes a mirror. When it is returned, you feel whole. When it is withdrawn, you feel diminished. But this emotional swing is not evidence of truth. It is evidence of attachment. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that nothing external can damage the soul unless we grant it that power. Losing someone hurts, but it does not define you. Separating love from self-worth is not about becoming indifferent or cold. It is about refusing to interpret loss as personal failure. You can acknowledge that something ended without concluding that you were unlovable, replaceable, or insufficient. Those conclusions are stories, not facts. Begin practicing this rule gently. When self-blame arises, replace it with clarity. Ask, what part of this was truly under my control? Then take responsibility only for that. Release the rest. Relationships end for many reasons that have nothing to do with value. Timing, fear, misalignment, emotional capacity. As you detach your worth from the relationship, something stabilizes inside you. You stop seeking proof that you mattered. You already do. You stop comparing yourself to who they might love next. Your path is not a competition. Self-respect grows quietly here. You begin to treat yourself with the same dignity you once reserved for keeping them. And in that shift, love stops being a measure of your value and becomes simply one experience among many, meaningful, painful, but no longer defining your identity. Rule 6. Feel the pain without feeding. Many people misunderstand Stoicism as emotional suppression. They believe strength means numbing yourself, distracting yourself, or pretending you're fine. But Stoic philosophy never asked you to deny pain. It asked you to stop letting pain turn into identity. There is a crucial difference between feeling pain and feeding it. Feeling pain is human. It arrives uninvited, tight in the chest, heavy in the quiet moments. Feeding pain is what happens when you replay memories, stalk their absence, or use suffering as proof that love was meaningful. One honors reality, the other prolongs suffering. The Stoics believed emotions are signals, not commands. Pain tells you that something mattered. It does not tell you to stay wounded forever. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind has the power to withdraw from distress whenever it chooses. Not instantly, not magically, but deliberately, through discipline. Allow yourself to feel what arises without narrating it. Sadness does not need a storyline. Grief does not need justification. When emotion surfaces, observe it as a sensation, not a verdict. Notice where it lives in your body. Breathe. Let it crest and pass without adding interpretation. This is not avoidance. This is mastery. Feeding pain often feels like loyalty. You believe letting it fade would dishonor what you shared. But Stoicism teaches that honoring the past does not require sacrificing the present. You can respect what was real without reopening the wound daily. Practice this rule moment by moment. When pain appears, resist the urge to analyze or dramatize it. Do not ask, "Why am I still like this?" Simply acknowledge, "This is pain." Then return your attention to what you are doing now. Action grounds emotion. Over time, pain loses its authority. It visits less often. It stays for shorter periods. You learn that suffering only persists when given constant attention. By feeling pain without feeding it, you reclaim emotional balance. This is how healing becomes possible. Not by force, not by denial, but by refusing to let pain dictate your inner life. This restores calm, clarity, strength, patience, and stability. Rule 7. Remove silent triggers from your life. Silent triggers are the invisible hooks that pull you back into emotional pain without warning. A song, a place, a notification, or a casual scroll can reopen wounds you thought were healing. Stoicism teaches that freedom begins with recognizing what repeatedly disturbs your inner balance. These triggers are powerful because they bypass reason. They strike before you can prepare, flooding the mind with memory and emotion. The Stoics would say this is not weakness, but a lack of environmental discipline. You cannot think your way out of constant stimulation. You must design your surroundings to support calm. Removing silent triggers is not about erasing the past. It is about protecting the present. When you allow reminders to surround you, you repeatedly invite suffering back into your life. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself to guard the gates of the mind. That begins with guarding what you expose yourself to daily. Look honestly at what keeps reopening the wound. Social media profiles you check out of habit. Photos you tell yourself you are ready to see. Places you visit hoping something will feel different. These are not neutral acts. They are emotional self-sabotage disguised as courage. This rule requires decisive action. Mute. Unfollow. Remove objects that carry emotional charge. Change routines that keep pulling you backward. Not because you are weak, but because you are healing. Discipline here is not avoidance. It is wisdom. At first, removing triggers feels like loss. You may fear that distancing yourself means forgetting them, but clarity soon replaces longing. Your thoughts slow, your nervous system relaxes. Space appears where pain used to live. Stoicism is not passive endurance, it is active self-protection. By removing silent triggers, you reclaim control over your attention. And where attention goes, peace can finally follow. This choice is quiet, firm, and deeply respectful of your future self, because every trigger removed is a boundary drawn, a signal of self-leadership, and a step toward emotional independence that no memory, image, or habit is allowed to cross again without apology or hesitation. Ever. Rule 8. Redirect emotional energy into discipline. Heartbreak leaves behind a surplus of energy. When love has nowhere to go, it turns inward and becomes restlessness, obsession, or regret. Stoicism does not tell you to eliminate this energy. It teaches you to redirect it into structure, action, and self-mastery. Discipline is where unspent emotion finds purpose. The Stoics understood that strong feelings can either erode the mind or forge it. If you do nothing, emotion decays into rumination. If you act, it becomes momentum. This is why discipline is not punishment, it is transformation. Think about how much energy you have spent thinking, remembering, and wishing. That same force can be used to rebuild your body, sharpen your mind, and stabilize your routine. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the impediment to action becomes the way. Pain becomes fuel when given direction. Redirecting emotional energy starts with the physical. Move your body when your thoughts spiral. Walk, train, breathe deeply, exhaust the excess. Physical discipline grounds emotion back into the present moment, where it loses its grip. Next, bring structure to your days. Set small, non-negotiable commitments. Wake up at a consistent time. Finish what you start. Keep promises to yourself. Each completed action restores trust in your own authority. Mental discipline follows. Limit mental wandering. When thoughts drift back to them, return to the task in front of you, not harshly, but firmly. Attention is a muscle. Train it daily. This rule does not demand perfection. It demands consistency. Some days discipline will feel mechanical. Do it anyway. Structure holds you steady when motivation disappears. Over time, something changes. You stop asking what they took from you. You start seeing what you are building without them. Emotional energy no longer collapses inward, it moves forward. Redirecting emotion into discipline does not harden the heart. It strengthens it. You're not running from love. You're honoring it by refusing to let pain waste your potential, your time, and your future. This choice builds resilience, restores identity, and proves you can transform suffering into disciplined freedom every single day. Rule 9. Accept that missing them doesn't mean. Going back missing someone is one of the most confusing emotional experiences. You can feel strong, clear, and committed to moving forward. Then suddenly, a wave of longing hits without warning. Many people interpret this as a sign they are not healed, or worse, that they should return. Stoicism offers a steadier perspective. The Stoics understood that emotions arise independently of choice, but actions do not. Missing someone is an emotional reflex. Going back is a decision. Conflating the two keeps you trapped in emotional obedience, as if every feeling demands a response. It does not. You can miss someone deeply and still know with clarity that returning would betray your growth. You can grieve what was real without reopening what was damaging. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the mind can observe emotions without surrendering to them. Longing does not invalidate progress. It is part of it. This rule requires emotional maturity. The desire to return often comes from discomfort, not love. Loneliness whispers that familiar pain is safer than unfamiliar peace. But Stoicism teaches that comfort is not the same as truth. Growth rarely feels gentle. When longing arises, pause. Name it without judgment. Say, "This is missing, not direction." Then remind yourself why the relationship ended. Not to relieve pain, but to anchor yourself in reality. Reality is the Stoic ground. Accept that healing is not linear. Some days you will feel detached. Other days, memories will sting. This does not mean you are failing. It means you are human, learning to coexist with emotion without letting it steer. By separating feeling from action, you reclaim authority over your life. You stop reacting, you start choosing. Each time you choose not to go back, despite missing them, you reinforce self-trust. Eventually, missing them becomes quieter. It visits, then leaves. And you remain standing, rooted in your values, not pulled backward by temporary emotion. This is how Stoic freedom develops. Calm, deliberate, and unshakable. Rule 10. Choose peace over emotional attachment. At some point, every healing journey reaches a quiet crossroads. One path keeps emotional attachment alive, replaying memories, checking old doors, staying loyal to pain because it once meant love. The other path leads toward peace. Stoicism asks you to choose the second, even when attachment still feels familiar. Emotional attachment promises intensity, but it rarely delivers stability. It keeps your inner life dependent on what is no longer present. Peace, by contrast, asks for courage. It asks you to release the emotional grip, not because the past was meaningless, but because your future deserves clarity. The Stoics believe that tranquility is the highest good, not passion that consumes the self. Choosing peace does not mean you erase love or pretend it never mattered. It means you stop organizing your life around what you lost. You stop measuring days by how much you miss them. You stop allowing memory to dictate mood. Peace begins when your emotional center returns to you. This choice must be renewed daily. Attachment will try to re-enter quietly, disguised as nostalgia or tenderness. When it does, remind yourself that peace is not emptiness. It is space. Space to think clearly. Space to act intentionally. Space to become who you are meant to be without emotional drag. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. When you choose peace, your thoughts soften. Your nervous system steadies. You respond instead of react. You no longer feel pulled in opposing directions. Choosing peace is not dramatic. It happens in small moments, when you don't check, don't reach out, don't replay. Each moment strengthens inner authority. Each decision confirms that your life is guided by values, not cravings. In the end, letting go is not losing love. It is choosing yourself without resentment. Peace becomes your standard, and once peace is chosen consistently, attachment loosens naturally, leaving behind respect for what was and calm acceptance of what no longer needs to be carried. This is the Stoic victory. Strength, steady presence, and freedom earned through conscious choice. Letting go of someone you still love is not a single decision. It is a series of quiet choices repeated every day. In this video, we walked through 10 brutal Stoic rules. Not to erase love, but to release the suffering that comes from attachment, rumination, and resistance to reality. You learned that love does not equal possession, that the past must be seen clearly, that thoughts do not command action, and that peace is always an option you can choose. Stoicism does not promise that you will never feel pain again. What it offers is something far more valuable: control over how long pain stays and how much power it holds. These rules are not meant to be understood once and forgotten. They are meant to be practiced. Start small. Apply one rule at a time, and notice how your thoughts shift, how your reactions soften, how your sense of self slowly returns. Remember, letting go is not a weakness. It is discipline. It is self-respect in action. And every time you choose clarity over obsession, peace over attachment, you reclaim a part of yourself that was never truly lost. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this video resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on which rule challenged you the most and begin there. Your future self will thank you. I'll see you in the next video.